Good afternoon, good afternoon again, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. We're going back to that horrible world known as the JRC. But before we do the disclaimers, and like I said, folks, we're just going to get straight in it, all right? Okay, in the description box, you're going to find the link to the article that the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center doesn't want you to read. It's written by NeuroClastic, a small non-for-profit started by autistics for autistics, wherein they interviewed and surveyed over 900 ABA professionals in regards to the JRC's so-called behavior modification program. Matter of fact, the JRC doesn't want you to read this article so much, they have threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit if they did not remove it from the website. Well, folks, NeuroClastic has refused, so you know the drill. Please read that article and share it on all your social media. Also included in there is NeuroClastic's public statement regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, as well as a link to their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding, folks, in case the JRC actually sees through with their threat. Also included in there, the Ozarks' first article in regards to the Agape boarding school, now known as Stone for Help boarding school situation, a so-called Christian-themed boarding school based out of Stockton, Missouri that takes in so-called troubled male teens, that has impending over 21 civil lawsuits, claims, and allegations leveled against it, all which have been substantiated by the Missouri Department of Social Services, and they include the following: sodomy, rape, sexual assault, child abuse, psychological and emotional abuse, child trafficking, starvation, and that's just for starters. You have one former staff member arrested by the FBI, another a doctor who still lives on the premises with full access to the boys on multiple, again, substantiated claims of sodomy, rape, and sexual assault of the boys there. You have an attorney general too busy chasing around and lying about the drag queens and trying and failing to defund public libraries to actually get his job done. And we got a governor that I don't think an intervention can even help at this point. So, folks, send help. Please read that article, share it on all your social media. Also included in there is the other pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign, including Autistic Hoya's massive archive on the subject, Jennifer Masemba's behavioral sheet of shockable offenses, a clip out of the 7-hour ordeal undergone by Andre McCollins back in 2002, the templates, the link to this article, and the ever-present, self-explanatory Change.org Shut the Judge Rotenberg Center Down petition. When we discuss the JRC, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of people with disabilities being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, please use your headphones, alright? Trigger warning, folks. This channel is marked not for children for a reason. We use profanity on occasion and we speak on dark subjects. If your child is 16 and younger and they are watching this, very obviously, parental supervision is advised, alright? Now, what you are seeing here is a page for Assemblymember Chris Burdick out of District 93 of New York. This is him speaking in support of Andre's law. For once, I'm not going to talk. I'm going to let Mr. Burdick talk. So let's get to it, shall we? Now, this was done on May 15th, by the way, to give you context.
It's my pleasure and honor, but with certainly such mixed feelings about having to come and speak about something which is so barbaric and which is hurting a whole generation of our young people. And it's just so startling and so jarring that we would have this procedure continuing in this day and age. And I really do wish to thank the senator and the assembly member for the courage and for the perseverance in bringing forward this bill and in pressing for its enactment. You know, once again, here's another example of the disability community just being invisible to so many in the world.
He's not lying, folks. How many times have we mentioned on this channel that they will go ahead and platform liars like AH and get them on all the major news networks, and you're bombarded by them day in and day out? Don't even get me on the freaking royal family soap opera. I'm so done with it, I can't even see straight. Meanwhile, my community has been fighting this atrocity for decades. 2 generations since we began this fight have gone through that school and has continued to be tortured since what happened to Andre McCollins back in 2002. 2 generations. Our cries fall on deaf ears. Nobody wants to listen. We had one moment in 2012. Every now and again, a major news outlet may do a short article here and there, but it's hardly up front and center like it should be. This should be on every news station. Front and center. Every single night. But it isn't. In spite of the fact that after 2012, this is still going on, by and large, we're being ignored. Those 6 deaths go untalked about by anyone except those of us who've been fighting and in the trenches for years. We are invisible by the mainstream. If you can't see that, you're blind. Let's continue to watch.
And we're working so hard to change that basic underlying attitude and mindset, which unfortunately is barring so much progress from taking place. Whether that's in funding, whether that's providing the tools, the instrumentalities, and everything that's needed so we can stop treating people with disabilities as second-rate citizens.
Thank you. How many times have I said it, folks? There are so many resources out there, but where they are available is in such small areas with so little education out into the communities. Let's not even discuss the completely abysmal lack of services and resources to poor communities made up majority of people of color, because I will go all day. I have been fighting that even longer than I've been fighting the JRC, and that's a good long minute. It's not just us not lacking the tools. Our parents are not being given the proper tools. They're not given the right information. They are preyed upon by places like ABA and the medical model, and they're not even aware of the other options that are out there. And they are. But let's finish this up, shall we?
As people who are to be shunned and shunted and not seen. This is just one more example of that we have to eradicate. So I'm a proud co-sponsor of this legislation, and I can tell you that I'm going to continue to work tenaciously to see it across the finish line. Thank you so much.
This video is pretty self-explanatory, isn't it? This is the kind of allyship that we need right now. People who are unafraid to get out there and stand up beside us. Not for us, but beside us. There's a large difference. Now, what I expect, because of what I've seen in the past and what places like JRC did to Senator Joyce, I expect this poor man to get attacked on all sides. I hope I am incorrect. It's just I've seen it too many times. I am proud that this man who sees beyond the atrocities of the JRC and into the heart of the issues that are facing the disability community and is calling out the rest of the world almost on how that we've been treated, our voices silenced, and how we've been pretty much erased from any meaningful discourse. We have to force our ways in. It shouldn't be that way. I'm going to close on that, folks. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few that we do tend to get removed from time to time. So please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit the comments. I do appreciate your time. And as always, folks, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. Bye-bye, everyone.